Welcome to Vision ProNotes. I'm Marty Gensius, a faculty member at a Midwest University, podcaster, and an Apple product fan, and also co-host of Vision Profiles. That's the Monday night show that we take all these little news items and put together and have a discussion with. Other hosts with us include Eric Bolden, Dave Ginsberg, and Daniel Burkholder. ProNotes is this supplement that we do to kind of enrich between the shows that we have on Monday night. Some information that has come out or some articles that we think are worthy of mentioning, and maybe you want to take a look at them. ProNotes comes out Monday mornings, Wednesday mornings, and Friday mornings. And just a reminder, you can see the full Vision Profiles show live streamed on YouTube at youtube.com/@Vision Profiles, Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or catch the video later on YouTube or the podcast of the whole show that will come out later that evening too. So today's Vision Pro Note, a short one, but an interesting one. It is what Vision Pro teaches us about spatial UX. And this was an article that was on Medium, Designing for Thin Air, what Vision Pro teaches us about spatial UX. It's written by Plank_Deep Tech and publishes materials on Medium. This, I believe, is a public article, so you should be able to access it. I really recommend, no matter how familiar you are or not familiar you are with Vision Pro and VisionOS, this article kind of outlines some important aspects of why it's a different format. It's spatial UX that we're working with. And you go back to the original source material from XR Today in 2024 and talk about it there. The thing they make is that we're no longer developing for screens. We're designing for space. And that's what makes Vision Pro a very unique device. It's not an AR or a VR headset, but it's a spatial computer. So we have to stop comparing it to other devices because no other device does a spatial UX. It's a shift for designers. It becomes a shift in terms of how you design for space, because you're not just designing for the X and the Y axis. You're also designing for the Z axis or depth in the whole area that the person might be working in. There's no fixed frames like phones or monitors. Vision Pro apps float in space, and you place them and move them around like furniture in a room. Now with the new version, or at least the developer beta version of Vision Pro, you also have the ability to keep those locked in space, shut your device off, turn it back on, and those things are still persistent in the area. Vision Pro uses sensors to understand your room and surroundings and will generate wireframes for the room. So it will inform how you're going to use your apps within that area. The key contrast here is with traditional UX, there's a flat interface in a box, where spatial UX is a 3D and it uses the contextual nature of the environment. No controllers, although, they're going to be introducing some VR PX2 controllers for use with Vision Pro as it comes. But right now, you control it with your eyes, your fingers, and with your voice. Gaze will select where you put your eyes, will select what you're going to act on. And inputs are really subtle and feel invisible to others. So I've got to tell you, this feels like a review that we all know, but it really does. The article does a really nice job of really getting to the core of what makes the Vision Pro and VisionOS a really unique developer platform. And developers will say it's really a struggle, but it's really an opportunity in doing this. So Windows volumes and spaces are a little bit different. The Windows, you have 2D apps with Windows, like a floating iPad. Volumes give you fully 3D objects. You can walk around them, you can walk through them if you need to walk through them. And it creates just a different environment when you're thinking of volumes. And then the space is, you can have completely immersive environments, which is another feature, I think, of VisionOS compared to other platforms like iPad apps that are just flat glass. Vision Pro apps inhabit your environment and kind of transport you to them. Um, there's really no tactile feedback. You're designing, you're touching air. Designers kind of give you auditory and visual feedback. That's the gaze. When you gaze on something, it activates, and you can then use your hand movements or your fingers clicking together to activate that particular thing. So they have to be careful about avoiding visual overload and having too much of that going on. Um, and Apple's glass aesthetic kind of supports the balance between the visual overload and clarity in terms of that. So, a lot of things that are coming out with what we're seeing in the other OSs around the glass and the liquid glass has come from Vision Pro and some of the things that we're seeing as the interface for Vision Pro. So that's kind of exciting. Different kind of tools that developers will use are Swift UI and Reality Kit and Reality Composer Pro. There are new frameworks that are being built just for spatial computing. We talked about persistence. We'll also talk about um, the adjustments that they're making in the new beta for developers in terms of APIs for persistence, the lockdown, or the locked code that they can put into lock objects in areas. And but they're also working with making the visual clarity and the visual action a lot better. So as you look at objects, they come into clarity because you don't need everything in your environment clear. You just need what you're looking at the moment. Similar to what our visual environment is without looking through spatial. When you're looking at something, your focus is on that and your eyes are focused on it. And if you kind of pay attention to what's going on around that, you'll see that it's not in focus because your eyes are foveating on the particular thing that you're looking at. It's really a paradigm shift, and this article makes the discussion about how it's more than that. It really is much more of a change in how computing platforms are in particularly these kind of virtual headset environments. So Vision Pro is not about escaping into a headset. It's about bringing computing into our world, which is a different way of looking at it. So I will have the link to this article in the notes of both the video and the podcast. You can find that there. Again, the article is it comes out of Medium. It's by Plank_Deep Tech, and it's designing for thin air what Vision Pro teaches us about or teaches about spatial UX. And you can look for that link, as I said, in the show notes. Just want to remind you, Macstock is still out there, and there are some great videos that you'll be able to get with a digital pass from Macstock. Go to macstockconferenceandexpo.com to find out more about that. They don't get any money for that. It's just a great place, and it's a great experience. Hopefully, you'll see the videos, and you'll go, I want to be there next year. I want to have that Macstock experience. Thank you for tuning in. Again, our live show, our live streamed show, which is recorded, you can watch it after that, is Monday nights at youtube.com/@visionprofiles at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch the video live. You can catch the video later on YouTube, or audio on any of your podcatching services. We'd love to hear from you and hear from listeners. Maybe you just want to join an episode. We can set that up. Email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. Learn more about Vision Profiles on the podcast, on the website, thepodtalk.net. And you'll see other podcasts that we do on that website if you're interested in it. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.